I give the miracles I have received. So this, of course, it depends on what you define a miracle to be, as we have discussed a little bit, but to recognize that there are many ideas of what miracles are. And yes, raising the dead, healing the sick, and walking on water, and all these different things might be make it a little more difficult to understand when you think those things are actually physical. So we want to recognize that any miracle that's occurring to the miracle worker is not having this happen in the physical world. No, it can't happen in the physical world. That's why Christ's vision is the perspective in which miracles happen, in which they're given. Where this world and what you think is solid is but shadows there. So remember, this is that transparent, illuminated reality. That's how this spiritual reality is. It's transparent, it's literally illuminated, and what you think of as physical is like shadows. It's not shadows in the sense of what we define shadows here, but it's as if it's not the dominant feature, it's not prominent, it's not what is the actual expression or shape of you. Like the energy is everywhere. The spiritual universe is everywhere. And so you see, when you actually see that, when you get into that perspective, naturally things happen differently. But to you, it's just happening in the flow, say, of the energy of the spiritual universe, just like water moving around everywhere. Okay? So this is something that's all over the place. It's not just specific to your soul, their soul. It's not just your aura. It's not just my chakras. So it's everywhere. It's all things. So the miracle and the definition of what a miracle would be an adjustment or a change of mind from what it once was. So whatever you thought was there and manifest, then when you change your mind as that dreamer perspective in the holographic, spiritual, transparent, illuminated reality, it naturally changes as well. So that when you are recognizing that this spiritual universe is occurring all the time and you're seeing more of that than you are of the physical world, then naturally it's manifests more instantaneously. Because that's essentially why we are putting the physical, the shadow, first, is because we put our fear first. That we actually make decisions filtering through, say, is this going to be a problem? Is this physically going to be an issue? Is this guy trying to take my money? What's going on? And all this fear instead. And then we choose to trust the universe after the fact. See how it's always after? It's like just like a shadow. So instead, when you're actually in the spiritual universe, you're in that unified essence perspective, that to say what would be after the fact would be the fear idea instead. So it's more like you're just in complete trust and you're knowing it, and the sense of a fear is just like, it's just like behind you. It's like the wake that follows, and you're not even making action out of it. Instead, you're just living, you're just naturally acting, enjoying, and feeling it happen instantaneously. So the healing that's mentioned and talked about in this lesson, of course, is more so has to do with, even in the previous discussion and the previous lesson, about what we're talking about with concepts and how you're sharing concepts in the sense of healing our minds. Yes, we're all healed together, and that's because when I see the spiritual universe, when I heal my mind to recognize it, everyone is there as well. Everyone is spiritual as well. It's like, even if you think of Jesus for an example, of his stories, being the most popular man in the world, right? His stories of the miracles that were taking place, he didn't see them and understand them in that way. He didn't even see his apostles as anything. They weren't physical. They had no need for miracles. They had no activities of these miracles occurring. Not to him, but to them. And to us in the physical world, yeah, we saw strange things happened, right? Strange things we now then call miracles happened. They broke the laws of physics. But to him, absolutely not. There was no such thing as a miracle. It's when miracles end, when time goes to an end, when all of this just kind of stops. So, of course, yes, it's a little cumbersome. It's a little kind of disorienting when you're trying to adjust yourself and adjust your mind into shaping into spiritual construct. You can't have a separated, independent reality and the miracle perspective at the same time. But you have nothing to fear. You have nothing to lose. You're not going to lose. That's one thing that often comes up. It's like, oh, but if I let go of my personal identity, then I won't be able to be here for my family. I won't be able to this and that, whatever it might be. I won't still experience this. I mean, even as I talk about my death experience, I came back specifically to experience physicality. And yeah, no doubt about it. Absolutely. It's the most terrifying thing to let go of. Absolutely. But when you actually put that trust first or that faith first instead of the fear, then the fear or the shadow becomes behind you. Okay, so even as the physicality becomes the shadow of but what is in the illuminated spiritual reality. So it's a pretty fascinating thing, especially when you see the change occurring when it happens. Like you're choosing right now, you're choosing a specific universe, and you're seeing that specific universe manifest every single moment. So you're seeing consistency with your decision, not just consistency in the universe. That's reflection of your consistency of your decision. So a miracle worker, and even as stories of Jesus, choosing different. And so it seems inconsistent. It seems like all of a sudden there was this miracle that happened. But it's not inconsistent to simply choose again. It has nothing to do with inconsistency. It's just you change your mind. And so the physical world changes. Of course, when you're there, it's not physical, right? But even as you experience it, yes, you can experience it in a way with the physical world. And little miracles, you're probably still telling the stories today, right? Little miracles happened. It was amazing. This happened. I can't believe it. You gotta really, it was amazing. And that's great. It's wonderful. But at those times, even out of body experiences and stuff, it's like you just forgot the body for a moment, an instant. You forgot about the physical world. And that's what you want to do. You want to extend that forgetting about the physical world, forgetting about knowledge of good and evil that manifests, extending it for a longer period of time until it's all that you know. So you're on this journey to discovering this, say, miraculousness. But you want to recognize that as you are sharing it, you are just simply extending it. So regardless of, again, what definition of a miracle you have that you're sharing, it makes no difference. Because you're on this path being guided to take whatever it is to a further extent. So what would be a definition of a miracle for you? Share that, regardless if you think the person knows how to do it or not. It's an opportunity to share that, or to teach that, or to show them how to do that in any sort of fashion, whatever it might be. And then that's the proof that you know how to do it, proof even to yourself, and therefore you receive it as you give it. And it's the same thing. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Hand in hand. It's like you're given opportunities to show people how to perform miracles. It's pretty amazing.